Hello everyone, this is Virtualwiz from Wiz Tech. Welcome to this Flutter development course for beginners.
In this video, we are going to look at Flutter layouts like columns, rows, and stacks. In our previous video, Chapter 7, Flutter Widgets, we briefly talked about layout widgets. There we got familiar with containers, which is a single-child layout widget. If you haven't watched that video yet, you can watch it from the description and come back to this video. Let's start with the column widget. A column layout or widget in Flutter is a widget that takes in multiple children and arranges them vertically from top to bottom. It's perfect for creating vertical structures and stacking widgets in a single column. To use the column widget, we wrap our widget or the children inside the column widget. Let's start by creating a basic column structure. This is a simple column that we created in our previous video. So let's remove this and create a new column. Remove this also, and nothing else to remove, I guess. Yeah. So let's return a scaffold, and inside the scaffold body we'll return a column. So to make a column, we simply type column followed with small brackets, and inside the column we pass in children, and children is a list of child or widgets, so we have to pass the big brackets. So inside these big brackets goes all the widgets that are inside the column. So for the first widget, let's type in a text, first widget, and the next one will be a second widget, also a text, and the third widget. So rename this second widget and the third widget. So let's build our app to see the changes. As you can see, we have our column widget showing over our screen. So it's a little bit small and at the top of the screen. So let's configure the alignment. To change the alignment of a column, we have two properties, that is main axis alignment, which is the vertical alignment of the children's. So we pass in main axis alignment dot center or end, space around, space between, space evenly, or start. Let's pass in center. This makes the children vertically aligned at the center of the screen. So like this. To align the children's horizontally center in the screen, we pass in cross-axis alignment. Cross-axis alignment dot center. This makes the children horizontally center in the screen. So here you can see the column or the children is in the same position as it was before we set the horizontal alignment. So why is that? Is the code not working? No. Actually, when we set the cross-axis alignment property of the column to cross-axis alignment dot center, it means that the children inside the column will be aligned in the center horizontally. However, if the width of the column is not taking up the entire screen, then you won't see the changes because the column is only as wide as its children. Here, the column is this big. So it is actually the children are actually at the center of the column, but not the screen, because the column is not taking the entire screen width. So to see the changes, let's provide a width property to the column. So to do this, we wrap the column with a container. So right click here and go to refactor, or you can click Ctrl+Shift+R and wrap with a widget. So the widget will be a container. So we provide the width of the container to be, let's say, 600. Now let's rebuild the code. Now you can see it is at the center of the screen because the container is providing the width and the column takes the width of the container. Hope you understand that. So we have to know that this main axis alignment and the cross axis alignment doesn't align the column, but the children's inside the column. Just like the center, we have many other positions for alignment, like start, end, space evenly, and so on. The start aligns the children's at the start of this column in the vertical position. So at the start will be the top of this column. And the cross axis.alignment.start aligns the children at the start of the column horizontally. So you can play around with it to get familiar with it. As for the children, you can have as many number of children as we want, and it is just not limited to number 3. We can have as many as we want. So, and it is also not limited to just text. We can have any widget as a child for the column. So we can even pass another column as children for the column. We can also pass a container, row, whatever you want. Now let's learn about row widget. A row layout or a widget in Flutter is a widget that takes in multiple children, just like the column, and arranges them horizontally from left to right. It is useful in creating horizontal structures and stacking children or widgets in a single row. To use a row, we wrap our widgets inside a row widget. Let's see an example. Let's first remove this column and also the container, and as a body we pass in row. So to use row, we simply type in row, and just like the column, we use children for a row. So it also takes multiple children. So whatever we put here as a widget, so let's say first row, this will be the leftmost widget of the screen or the row. So this will be the first row that is on the left side of the screen, and this one, the second row, will be right next to the first row. So it will be stacked horizontally on the screen. So let's build the app again, and as you can see here, the first row and the second row are stacked horizontally on the screen. So let's make it at the center of the screen. Just like the column widget, we can customize the alignment within the row. Remember, in a row, the children are arranged horizontally, so the cross-axis alignment property controls the vertical alignment, and the main axis alignment controls the horizontal alignment. So let's pass in the main axis alignment to be main axis alignment.center, and the cross-axis alignment to be cross-axis alignment.center, and reload the code. So this main axis alignment controls the horizontal alignment of the row. In column, the main axis alignment controls the vertical alignment. The height of the row is as much as the height of the children inside the row. So right now the height of the row is this much. So it is actually aligned vertically at the center of the row, but we don't see the difference because the height is only this much. So to provide the height to the row, we have to wrap it again, like in the column, with a container. So Ctrl+Shift+R to refactor and wrap it with widget and container, and we provide the height to be, let's say, 800. Now let's hot restart, and you see the row is at the center of the screen. Just like the column, we can provide different alignment position to the row. So we can provide it start, space between, and many more. You can play around with it to get familiar with the alignment, and we can also provide as many children to the row as we want. So we can also provide any widget as a children to the row. So we can even provide the children as another row or a column. And let's add the children inside the column. So the children will be text with first column, and let's refactor it, and I will copy this text again and paste it below and write it second column data. Here also data, and I will copy this column again and paste it below, and I will pass this X column data and Y column data. Now let's load the code, and you can see the first column data is this one, and the second column data, this is the column that we provided, this one. So this column stays as the row first item here, so first column data and the second column data, and this is the second column that we provided, this one, X column data and Y column data. So you can play around with it and get familiar with the row and columns. Now let's learn about the stack widget. A stack layout or a widget in Flutter is a widget that takes in multiple children and arranges them on top of each other, giving you more control over the position and layering of the widgets. Imagine a stack of cards where each card is placed on top of another. The stack widget works similarly, allowing you to stack widgets on top of each other in a specific order. The first widget you add will be at the bottom of the stack, and the subsequent widgets will be layered on top of it. Let's look at an example. Let's remove this row widget and also the container, and as a body we will pass in stack widget, stack, S-T-A-C-K. The stack also takes multiple children, so we pass in children, and inside the children we pass the widgets that are to be positioned in the stack. So let's add a container as a child. So container whose color will be let's say red, colors dot red, and the height will be, let's say, 200, and the width will be 200. And on top of this red container, let's add a yellow container. So container with the colors dot yellow, with the size of height of 150, no, let's say 100, and the width of 100. So let's run the code. You can see this is how it's positioned. So the red container, that was the first container we built, is at the bottom, and the yellow container is on top of the red container, but it is all positioned at the top left corner of the screen. So to specify the exact positioning of the items inside the stack, we use a position widget. The position widget is used within a stack to precisely position its child widgets. It allows you to specify the exact coordinates or constraints for the child widget's position within the stack. Think of position widget as a tool that helps you to control the position of the widget within a stack. When you wrap a widget with positioned widget, you can set properties like top, left, right, bottom, width, and height to define the positioning and size of the child widget. So let's use this position widget in our code. So within the stack, outside the container, we wrap this container within a position widget. So right click here and refactor, or you can simply Ctrl+Shift+R and wrap with a widget, and the name is position. And within this we provide the constraints for the child widget, that is the container. So let's position it to the top at 0 and the left at 0, and for the next container we again wrap it with a position widget, position, and for this we provide the top to be 50 and from the left it will be 50. So reload the code and you can see here the red is stacked from the top to the 0 and from the left to the 0, and the yellow is stacked from the top to the 50, so 50 from here and 50 from here. So you can play around with it and get familiar with the position widget and the stack widget. So that's a wrap for this video, where we learned about layout widgets like column, row, and stack widgets, and briefly went over container and position widgets. In our next video, we'll learn about list view. Till then, stay tuned and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Wiz Tech.